What will you tell your kids? That you voted for a felon and a criminal. Will you tell them that breaking the law is how they should live their lives? That lying to their families about porn stars and hush money is how they should behave.
Donald Trump is furious and Marjorie Taylor Greene is stunned by a series of scathing parody advertisements that the Lincoln Project recently produced. Now these funny advertisements are holding Greene, who believed she could propagate her conspiracy beliefs without scrutiny, hilariously accountable. Regarding Trump, he is furious and may be hurling ketchup at the walls. Trump is so enraged that he is unable to focus on his golf game. Like a kid who has lost their favorite toy, he has been screaming non-stop about how unfair it all is. Greene is feverishly trying to handle the aftermath in the meantime, but the damage has already been done. The advertisements have gone viral, making her the center of attention. Trump and his allies are taking a hard hit from these spoof advertisements, and they are finding it difficult to handle. He doesn't stop at a weaponized legal system. I'm not going to mince words with you all. Democrats want Republicans dead, and they've already started the killings. We're all targets now, though, for daring to push back against the regime. With no holds allowed, the Lincoln Project's most recent parody advertisements are dealing Marjorie Taylor Greene a severe blow. She is cruelly made fun of in these advertisements for her wild conspiracy ideas and sporadic attacks on Dr. Fauci. Greene has been attacking Fauci non-stop, calling him Mr. Fauci instead of recognizing his rightful rank and acting like a disobedient child who won't take no for an answer. She has also ludicrously claimed that he created public health recommendations just to cause suffering to the populace. Wow, what a foil hat moment.
Although that little boy wasn't even the #1 most childish person in Congress today, that honor went to the Klan mom, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children. Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor.
The accusations against Dr. Fauci by Marjorie Taylor Greene, who calls him an absolute monster and guilty of mass murder, escalate to an even more ridiculous level. Greene even calls for charges against Dr. Fauci. The Lincoln Project is capitalizing on these dramatic assertions to draw attention to her severe misinterpretation of science and the dangers of her provocative language. Regarding the practical effects of Greene's attacks, Dr. Fauci has acknowledged that a rise in death threats against him and his family has resulted from her remarks. It serves as a sharp reminder of the influence that words have, particularly when they originate from a public figure.
And she continued this nonsense in the hall.
He's guilty of mass murder. I mean, Fauci he's an absolute monster. He should have his medical license revoked. And he should be charged.
Who, the Gazpacho police? I mean, people voted for this woman. Thousands of people voted for this ham in a can come to life.
The mocking advertisements also emphasize how Marjorie Taylor Greene's actions are detrimental to science as a whole. She is weakening public confidence in those tasked with our protection by downplaying experience and credentials, which incites fear and rage in the public. The Lincoln Project is exposing her risky behavior and stressing the dire repercussions of her choices. Additionally, the parodying ads highlight how Marjorie Taylor Greene's actions harm science in general. By downplaying her experience and credentials, she is undermining public faith in those entrusted with our protection, which incites public anger and terror. Her dangerous behavior is being exposed by the Lincoln Project, which also emphasizes the grave consequences of her decisions. But Donald Trump is having a full-blown breakdown over these advertisements, while Marjorie Taylor Greene is moping in the aftermath. There are rumors that he has been acting like a toddler who has lost his favorite toy, yelling and screaming. Now the key question is how Trump will react to being publicly humiliated. Will he try to separate himself from Greene's antics, or will he lash out on social media? There's no denying that the Lincoln Project has touched a nerve, and there are no indications that they will back down. The classic response from Trump to the parody advertisements from the Lincoln Project: Trump, venomous and insubstantial. He has been venting on Fox News, bemoaning the injustice and the hardships his family is facing. Poor Melania, always looking down on her husband's shenanigans.
I have a wonderful wife who has to listen to this stuff all the time. They do that for this reason. They do that, all these salacious names that they put in.
Trump sat for a chat with the gang at Fox and Friends, who provided 6 very warm and friendly shoulders for him to cry on.
These are bad people. I know everything they're doing. I know every move they make. I get it. It's tougher. I think it's probably, in many ways, it's tougher on my family.
Beyond the personal drama, however, Trump's response provides valuable insight into his present political approach, or lack thereof. He's stumbling around, yelling at anyone who dared to disagree with him and providing no genuine answers or forward-looking ideas. His customary customary tactic of misdirection and distraction is being employed once again, rather than addressing the content of the advertisements. Additionally, Trump is implying that there might be unrest if he faces any genuine repercussions, since he says the people won't tolerate it. A traditional strongman strategy to scare his opponents and energize his supporters is to issue a thinly veiled threat. Will it succeed this time, though? With his legal issues becoming worse and his popularity declining, Trump is beginning to resemble a helpless man clinging to hope. Speaking of desperation, it's hard to understand Trump's abrupt adoption of TikTok. Not very long ago, this same individual wanted to prohibit the platform, but these days, he's all into the lip-sync videos and dancing challenges. The irony was immediately pointed out by Jimmy Kimmel, who also pointed out that Trump doesn't even follow his own kid on the app. Talk about familial turmoil, ouch. The most illuminating exchange, though, may have occurred when Trump was questioned over the declassification of JFK, 9/11s, and Epstein papers. He was excited to talk about JFK and 9/11s, but all of a sudden he became silent regarding Epstein, stuttering about how difficult it would be for the public to accept. Jimmy Kimmel couldn't help but call attention to the hypocrisy and speculate that Trump may be hiding some information about his relationships with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. The reasons behind Trump's reluctance to confront the Epstein issue head-on and what he might be hiding have only been heightened by his hesitation. Would you declassify the 9/11 files? Yeah. Would you declassify JFK files? Yeah. I did a lot of it. Would you declassify the Epstein files? Yeah, it's evident that Trump is under criticism from all quarters and he's not doing well. His response to the Lincoln Project advertisements is only the most recent instance of a guy losing his influence and authority. Trump may be defeated, but he's still in the game. No matter how low he goes, he will always have a core of devoted fans who will stick with him. What does all of this signify for American politics going forward then? Do parodies and satire actually have an impact on public opinion? The Lincoln Project has a history of success to support their beliefs. These advertisements have a way of cutting through the clutter and revealing the unpleasant reality hiding behind the skillfully constructed facades of our political leaders, as seen in their recent skewering of Marjorie Taylor Greene and their stunning takedowns of Trump. It's no secret that the Lincoln Project is skilled at parody advertisements. They aren't afraid to go straight after politicians and have a knack for hitting them where it hurts. Consider their recent assaults on Greene, which make her appear like a complete crazy by showcasing her insane attacks on Dr. Fauci and outrageous conspiracy theories. And it's working. These advertisements are changing how the public views Greene by portraying her as a dangerous radical who threatens to undermine faith in knowledge and science. However, the Lincoln Project has been involved in this for some time. Their previous campaigns have been incredibly successful in deposing political leaders, particularly Trump. They are skilled at creating visually striking viral content that exposes and parodies the ridiculousness of these politicians' remarks and deeds. It seems as though they possess a formula for making advertisements that endure in the minds of viewers and strengthen unfavorable opinions. In the end, the Lincoln Project's methodology shows that parody and satire can indeed influence public opinion. Their ability to blend comedy and brutal honesty allows them to break through the political clutter and leave a lasting impression. They continue to hold powerful persons accountable in the most entertaining and efficient way possible, but it remains to be seen if this will result in meaningful changes to the political environment.
Went into the voting booth happy to pull the lever for the only former president in history to bear the mark of criminal shame. What will you tell your kids? That you voted for a felon and a criminal, supported a man found guilty by a citizen jury. Will you tell them that breaking the law is how they should live their lives? That lying to their families about porn stars and hush money is how they should behave?
Not only can parody advertisements make politicians appear terrible, but they can also have a big impact on popular opinion. These advertisements expose politicians' shortcomings to the general public by scrutinizing and ridiculing their words, deeds, and even identities. It's an effective instrument for influencing public opinion, and the Lincoln Project knows how to use it. Take a look at how Trump is responding to these most recent advertisements. He is yelling and screaming like a child whose favorite toy has been taken away, completely out of control. It's evident that he can't take being made fun of and exposed in this way. His rebuttal is all rage and little substance. He attacks opponents without providing any meaningful answers or long-term plans. The Lincoln Project, aware that they have touched a nerve, is sitting back and enjoying the fireworks in the meantime. They have no intention of giving up or ceasing to use satire and parody to hold politicians responsible. It's an essential component of our political conversation. distraction, a means of slicing through the murk and revealing the unpleasant reality hiding behind our politicians' well-maintained facades. Satire isn't the only tool being used by the Lincoln Project to change the world, though. Comedians that perform late at night, such as Jimmy Kimmel, are joining in the fun and utilizing comedy to highlight the ridiculousness of our political system. Kimmel's interpretation of Marjorie Taylor Greene's odd tirades against Dr. Fauci serves as an excellent illustration of how to make a serious issue in an approachable and enjoyable manner by ridiculing her ignorance and emphasizing the practical repercussions of her divisive language. In today's political environment, satire is proving to be an effective weapon, and Jimmy Kimmel is one of the best at using it. This man has the ability to take the ridiculousness of our political service and make it entertaining television, using comedy to make the absurd antics of people like Trump and Greene more approachable for the general public. Kimmel has a genuine gift for exposing the hypocrisy and stupidity of these characters. Kimmel deconstructs Trump's ridiculous remarks about climate change with an analogy from a bathtub that even a toddler could comprehend. Is Trump's belly island getting smaller in the bathtub? Great comedic material that genuinely addresses the truths behind global warming. Kimmel, though, isn't simply playing for laughs. He's bringing attention to the true risks of political disinformation and the significance of keeping our leaders responsible by employing satire. Kimmel is not merely looking for a cheap laugh when he calls Greene guilty of mass murder in response to his insane comments on Dr. Fauci. He is criticizing Greene for her perverted reality and her tendency to distort the facts to support her own distorted story. This instance of satire exposing the emperor's new clothes. In this example, the congresswoman's tinfoil hat is a classic. Not to be overlooked is the impact of a well-positioned clip. Kimmel is a master of the montage, highlighting Trump's dishonesty and flip-flopping by leveraging his own words against it. The gall of Trump to refute what he said numerous times on camera. Kimmel is correct. Only the Donald could muster the audacity to carry that out. However, Kimmel clearly and hilariously reveals the reality by showcasing those clips side by side. To sum up, the Lincoln Project and comedians such as Jimmy Kimmel are effectively utilizing satire by cutting through political propaganda and exposing the underlying follies. They hold elected officials responsible and influence public opinion. It demonstrates that parody is a potent form of political commentary as well as entertainment. It is a potent blend of fun and truth.